Hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here with me. Healthy living is such a passion of mine, personally and professionally. And it just brings me so much joy to come here and share with you the things that I know to be true about what it takes to live a complete and full, healthy life. Anyway, today's topic is extremely important. And it's something that I want you to make sure that you think about and consider and observe and take notes on and log your findings. And that is what the proper fuel won't bring you. Okay, so think about that. If I think that my dietary practices are so healthy, if I think that my relationship with food is so healthy, if I think that I'm on the right track because my weight stays the same, because I'm able to continue to work out every day, if we think that we've got it all down, I still want to challenge you to take a look at this, because I don't know too many people that are still sitting in their life not experiencing any kind of stressor, that don't go through the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys. And sure, some level of that's always going to be the case because we are human beings and we feel and we experience things, and some things are a little bit more derailing than others, but only as derailing as we allow it to be. So here's the deal. If our fuel is the food that we're using is the proper food for us, because what's the proper fuel for me may not be right for you. In fact, I'd venture to say it's probably not. But if the food that we're eating, the fuel that we're using to power our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our souls is right for us, then why do we have midday fatigue? Why do we have bloatiness and gassiness? And why do we have mental fog? Why do we have lacking clarity? Why do we have a difficult time keeping our train of thought? So if we liken this to, say, an automobile, if we put in, if we have a car that's, calls for 91 octane unleaded and we use 87, we might notice a performance difference. Same thing goes for if we have this high performance vehicle and we put diesel in, we're definitely going to be noticing a performance difference. And if we take that same high performing vehicle and we put, say, latex paint or sugar in the tank, we're most definitely going to experience performance issues. So why, if we're having performance issues, wouldn't we start by taking a look at the fuel that we're using in our bodies? So if your vegetables, let's just say your intake of vegetables, if you feel really good about that and you say, I eat primarily, a plant-based diet, but there are some plant-based meals that you eat and you're experiencing bloat, you're swelling, you're puffy, you're dry, you feel dehydrated, or you, perhaps you're feeling sluggish, right? And there's most certainly something, could be one very minute item in whatever it is that you're eating, whether that be in the morning, as your snack, as your midday meal, that is causing those issues. So sometimes things in our life change, meaning as we age, our digestive system, our metabolism, all of these things change, and we've got to be willing to change our fuel with it. We've got to be willing to listen and to hear what it is that we need. So if I eat, I'm just going to bring in one of my real food items, right? That I know doesn't work for me now, but when I started to notice that every time I was eating, I was feeling bloated. I almost instantly was noticing a distension in my abdomen. It was almost as if I was a few months pregnant. Like it was like that full, and I was feeling it. And I started looking at it. And, sure, I went to a lot of, experts and they're like, use this diet, low FODMAP. Try, Atkins, whatever it was, right? I don't remember at this point all of the recommendations, and none of it was really working for me because there were items that worked really well for me in the things that they were saying don't eat. And what I found was it was very specific food types, food groups that were no longer working for me. And so nightshades, onion, garlic, peppers, tomatoes, right? Those things were all causing me issue. And the reason why I was having such a hard time tying it together was because they were in a meal in combination, right? Like things get all mixed up. We do it when we make sauce, right? Like I'm Italian, right? Like we make our sauce and we're boiling down the tomatoes and we've got the onion in it and we've got the peppers in it and we have all these things. And if nightshades are an issue for you, then that spaghetti sauce is going to be a problem. Right? So we want to be able to look at what it is. So if I'm using the proper fuel for me, I'm not going to have leaky gut. I'm not going to get distended. I'm not going to get bloated. My hands aren't going to swell. But another thing to look at is if I'm having clarity issues, if I'm having a difficult time keeping a train of thought, I have to find out what is it that I'm missing? What am I not getting enough of? And so often what I find is that it's those nutrients and the proteins that the body really functions on. It's what keeps it going. It's also how frequently I make sure that I take in food. Now, everybody's different. Some people can have those larger meals with multiple food types and groups in them. Other people cannot. I most certainly prefer to keep mine to like 2 items. So I'll eat an apple and some nut butter. Right? I'll have some yogurt with kashi cereal or some sort of, granola, but just the 2. I generally, as a rule, do not mix more than 2 types of foods at the same time, because any more than that, and it's too much for my body. It makes my body have to shut down, causes the fatigue, right? And that fatigue causes the mind fog, because my system's saying, hey, I got to pay attention to all thisness that you put in here. You got vegetables, you've got fruit, you've got bread, you've got whatever it is, right? Like I try not to do that because that's what works best for me. So you have to be willing to look at like why on some days do I have a hard time keeping my train of thought? And why on some days is my clarity not really there? What is it that's bringing me fogginess? What is it that's causing bloat? What is it that's causing fatigue? And so if we're not willing to sit and investigate what our physical body is going to tell us or is trying to tell us, then we're never going to figure it out. We're going to keep trying the fad diet after fad diet after fad diet and never get the results that we're looking for. We can take the concept, we can take the idea, we can try the practice, but we have to be willing to add, edit, delete, make it our own. Because our vessel is a unique vessel that has its own unique requirements. Anyway, so your proper fuel, and my dogs are going to bark, your proper fuel will not cause discomfort. It will not cause for you to function poorly. So, again, I apologize. It is my birthday, so here comes a delivery. Anyway, be mindful. Take a look at it. Get your food mood journal. Make it happen. And I'll talk to you soon.